Yes.
All right, I am going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of March 23rd to order. Let's start with a roll call. Norma Drummond.
James Meyer.
Rocco.
Rocco Limatone.
Good, thank you very much. So I'm going to read a statement first. So good evening and welcome to the East Fishkill Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of March 23rd, 2021. Due to the public health and safety concerns associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, the board is meeting via video conferencing using the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's executive order, specifically 202.1 and extended through March 24th. There is no public participation in person tonight. Rather, the public can watch the live meeting through Zoom online and on cable. Tonight, notice of tonight's meeting was published as required and posted on the town website. The web notice included instructions for members of the public to access the meeting and participate in any public meetings. For each of the public hearing applications on the agenda this evening, public comments will be taken at the appropriate time after the board has asked any of its own questions. Please note that tonight's meeting is being recorded and a transcript will be available at a later date. We start our meeting tonight with some administrative issues, then we'll issue several, actually no decisions this evening. So then we'll hold a number of public hearings, which will be on applications that the board has already reviewed and now wants to hear from the neighbors. As we recognize, you know these areas better than we do. I will introduce each agenda item so everyone will know which item we are working on. Finally, we will get to the reviews, which are generally the first time we review applications or are applications where the applicants needed to get this board additional information. There will be no public comment on any of these reviews this evening. Neighbors will be noticed on these applications at the appropriate time for some future meeting. If you wish to comment on an application that has a public hearing, when we get to that item on the agenda and I ask for public comment, please do the following depending on whether you are on the phone or online. Members of the public attending online via the Zoom app may use the raise hand feature at the appropriate time if you would like to make a comment. The feature is located at the bottom of the screen. Those attending via telephone can press *9. The meeting host will see that your hand is raised or that you have pressed *9 and will unmute those waiting one at a time so that you can speak. In either case, please state your name when you are called upon to speak. There are a couple ground rules. In order to keep this meeting orderly and ensure we get a clear recording, please follow these ground rules. 1, when you are given access to speak, please state your name and address. It is helpful for the board members to know if you are a neighbor to an application. 2, board members, I will call up on you one at a time to speak to avoid everyone speaking at once. If you wish to speak at any time when I am not calling on you, you may also use the raise hand function or just literally hold up your hand so I can see you on the screen and I'll call on you. 3, board members, please mute yourselves when you are not speaking. This is especially important if you are not the only one home in your house or you have animals who might bark or otherwise. 4, we will use roll call voting for purposes of all board motions. This will ensure that the record is clear. Thank you in advance to everyone for your patience, and please bear with us as we negotiate this way of doing things. Remember, we are used to having papers in front of us and now we're looking for documents on our computers in addition to those on papers. This will also take some getting used to for us. So please bear with us. Thank you. All right, so let me get to the agenda. So we are going to start at this point with the Pledge of Allegiance. Can I ask everyone to please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, our next 2 meetings are going to be Tuesday, April 27th and Tuesday, May 25th. We have one set of minutes to approve from our meeting of February 23rd. There were just a handful of amendments to those minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended? Unless any board members have additional comments to the minutes.
So moved.
Comments.
So I have Rocco has made a motion to move the minutes as amended. Jim, is there a second?
Yes, second.
Although Jim, well,
Yeah,
you weren't there, but you can still vote. So
Yes, so yes, so I second the application. Yes.
okay, thank you. And so votes as follows: Jim,
Aye.
Rocco,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So our motion to carry the minutes is done. So I'm going to just jump right into the business of our evening. So our first item, number one, is an appeal, 3982 Gemma Khan. Gemma Khan, 171 Beekman Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 3-foot height variance for an existing entryway 9-foot fence located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. So Ms. Khan, we did have the opportunity to review your application with you last month. Since then, we've actually done a little bit of homework on your property. Because one of the things that we were looking at was whether your property was actually locally significant or not. And we actually did find it in the 2004 East Fishkill Historic Resources. It is historic for its architecture. It is the barn and the structures there were built in 1835 as part of the Apple Ridge Farm. And it is a really good example of the Federal Greek Revival style. And so based on that and the fact that there are pillars that were already existing there, to add a 9-foot fence is probably in keeping with the historic character. We know it's not a replica. We know it's not historically significant, the fence itself that or the gate that you've put up, but it probably is in keeping with the fact that those stone pillars, as tall as they are, did in fact have likely had a gate at some point. Anybody traveling on Beekman Road is going to call, their attention is going to be called to the fact that there's a stone wall along the front of the property. Again, that stone wall has been there for a very, very long time, part of the historic nature of that property. And so, one actually has to go into the property, curve up to the right before one would actually encounter the fence, or the gate that you've now put up. So, are there any comments or questions from board members? No. Okay. Ms. Khan, is there anything else you wish to add? Michael, you would have to unmute her.
Okay, Ms. Khan, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, got it. No, thank you so much. I really love my house and I want to make it beautiful.
Okay, so let's just make sure there are no neighbors' concerns, and then we'll move on with this. So is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against the request from Gemma Khan, 171 Beekman Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 3-foot height variance for an existing entryway 9-foot fence located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance?
We have one person who would like to raise it, who is raising.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
now we can.
This is Vincent Piccinini. I'm at 162 Beekman Road. I received a letter in the mail about the variance about the gate, and I just logged on to say I have no objections.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, is there anybody else? If you can use the raise hand feature,
Or if you dial, then you hit *9.
thank you. I forgot that part of the instructions already.
We don't always have it, someone calling it.
All right,
No one else has raised their hand.
do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
And Rocco, aye?
Aye, yes. Sorry.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so there is a resolution to offer.
I'm prepared to go ahead. So in reference to appeal number 3982, the applicant Gemma Khan requesting a 5-foot height variance for an existing entryway, 9-foot fence located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Resolution being offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Whereas the applicant has applied for a fence height variance for a decorative 9-foot high gate Whereas the house was built in 1985, 1835, I'm sorry. And whereas the gate only serves a decorative function in the garden area of the property and is in conformance with the character of the historic property. Whereas the gate height is in conformance with the stone pillars that have historically been on the property. Whereas the gate is not visible to anyone passing the house. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under SEQR and no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on March 17th, 2021. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on March 23rd, 2021. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the gate will not be visible to others and is purely for decorative purposes. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, although the gate is of a high quality and a unique design element. The variance requested could be deemed substantial, but is not visible to anyone from the road and likely restores a component of the historical character of the property, given the tall pillars that are still standing. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Gemicon 171 Beekman Road for a 5-foot height variance from the requirements of section 194-98 of the town code. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
I just have one comment to make. Was it 3 foot or 5 foot? I thought it was 3
5
foot,
foot.
5 foot.
I believe it's really a 4-foot, so it's a 4-foot gate's allowed in the front yard, generally speaking, and then she's proposing a 9-foot gate, so it's really a 5-foot variance.
Wanted to make sure.
It is, yeah, it is a 5-foot. So, okay, so votes as follows: Jim,
Aye.
Rocco,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So Ms. Khan, your motion carries. At this point, I don't know if you have to deal, you may have to deal with the building department. I'm not sure. Just check in with them. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Take care.
All right. Item number 2. Appeal 3984, Kimberly Muia. Kimberly Muia, 43 Wright Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 15-foot sideline variance for a proposed 576 square foot, 24-foot by 24-foot attached garage with living space above, and a 2-foot sideline variance for an existing deck pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Yeah, it might be better just leaving this on muted. Second.
I know. There's only 3 of us, so we probably could do that.
Yeah.
So Jim, seconding the motion to open the
Yes,
public
I
hearing?
did. Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So Ms. Muia, this is you have a home, a raised ranch in Dogwood Knolls. You are looking to add a 2-car garage with a master bedroom over it at the top of your driveway. So absolutely, that makes sense. 24-foot by 24-foot is a standard, really, 2-car garage. So again, it's not oversized. And so it brings the garage would then bring your house to about 10.5 feet to the property line at its closest point. So, you say the style of the addition is going to be consistent with the existing home. So I don't think there was anything else that we noted as being significant. I don't know if you've had a chance to speak with any of your neighbors or if you have anything else to add.
No, we spoke to, hi. This is Joe
This is not
Muia.
Kimberly.
No,
Can you
no.
please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Joe Muia. Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a chance to speak to our neighbor on the other side, but my schedule conflicts with the neighbor on the side with the garage. I've been trying to get over there, but I haven't had a chance to speak to him.
Okay, well,
But before we start building or doing anything, I definitely am going to speak to him.
Okay, well, he may be here this evening too.
Oh,
so-
okay, cool.
All right, so is there anything else you wanted to add, in addition to what I've just stated?
No, everything's the same.
All right, thank you. So any questions or comments from board members?
No, I'm good.
No,
All right, so is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Kimberly Muia, 43 Wright Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 15-foot sideline variance for a proposed 570 square foot attached garage with living space above and a 2-foot sideline variance for an existing deck?
So we do have one person who raised his hand.
Okay, good.
Okay, Brian, you're able to speak. You have to unmute yourself.
Hello, this is Brian Dorn. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Well, so I'm the neighbor at 41 Wright Boulevard. So haven't actually talked to Joe about that yet. I guess I'm the one he hasn't spoken to yet.
Okay,
So I guess my only concern might be how that might affect anything I do, like as far as like if I redid my deck or because our property line is probably about 20 feet away from the corner of my house and the deck right now. So just kind of wondering if that's going to affect us in any way.
You would still have to comply with all setbacks on your own property. What your neighbor does on his property won't affect your own setbacks.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I didn't know how that affects us as far as taxes or anything like that, or value of the property. But if there's no problems with anything like that, then I wouldn't have a problem with that.
okay. Thank you for joining us this evening.
All right, thanks.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak this evening related to this appeal?
If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Or I think Brian may want to speak again. Or no, he lowered his hand. Nope, we have no takers.
Okay, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
so moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And the resolution. Rock, you're gonna offer it, you're muted, but Jim, maybe it just makes sense to have one of you do the resolutions this
There
evening.
you go.
He has it called up. I don't have it called up right now.
I got it.
Okay, you sure, Rocco? Because watch your time. So Jim, I think I am gonna ask Jim to handle the resolutions this evening, just because Rocco may have a conflict in a couple minutes, so, okay?
Rocco, do you have this one up though? I gotta.
I do.
Okay, go ahead then.
This one.
Go ahead.
Appeal number 3984, Kimberly Oliva Mueller is the applicant. Name of the project is for a 15-foot sideline variance for a proposed 576 square foot, 24 by 24, attached garage with living space above, and a 2-foot sideline variance for an existing deck pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. The location is at 43 Wright Boulevard in Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by zoning board member Rocco Limatone. Whereas the applicant has applied to construct a 2-car garage with a bonus room above, and whereas the applicant will remove a decrepit shed as part of the construction of the garage, and this action is a type 2 action of the SICWA, and no further action is required. And whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on March 17, 2021. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public meeting on March 23rd of 2021, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the property will remain residential in nature and an existing shed will be removed. The desired result can be achieved by some other means in that the garage could be expanded, but only by 1 bay. But this would not accomplish the applicant's goal of storage for vehicles. The variance requested is not substantial given the layout of the property. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Kimberly Oliva Mueller, 43 Wright Boulevard, for a 15-foot sideline variance for a proposed 576 square foot, 24 by 24 attached garage with living space above. And 2, a 2-foot sideline variance for an existing deck pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance, the variances. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Aye. Second.
Thank you. So votes as follows: Jim,
Aye.
Rocco,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So the motion carries. Kimberly and Joe, you're all set.
Great. Thank you very much,
Building
guys.
Department.
You.
Have a good night.
All right, good. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3, Appeal 3985, Jocelyn Lassard. Jocelyn Lassard, 401 Woodmont Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a special use permit for the expansion of a pre-existing accessory apartment, a 22-foot sideline variance for an existing 825 square foot 3-car detached garage, and a variance to allow an existing pool to be located in the front yard pursuant to sections 194-91 and 194-95C of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, public hearing is open. So, Bill Povall, you're here? You have to unmute yourself. Just making sure, I'm just wondering who I'm here
Can
with.
you hear me now?
Yes, now we can. Thank you.
Good evening.
All right, so last month we had the opportunity to review your application. Since then, we did go back and do a little bit of additional research on this property as well. As you note in the short form environmental assessment, this property is located is a 16-acre parcel located on a much larger, when we add together the other parcels that the same property owner owns, it's a total of 118 acres. It is part of the old Probst estate. And so actually this house is really high up and overlooks I-84. So this house was built in the 1920s. It was actually one of the first houses on the hill. And so, you know, I think the planner was actually, our town planner was going to make a request. It is not in the 2004 of East Fishkill Historic Resources, but the town planner was going to make a request to the town board, and probably has done so already, to actually make a determination that this property is locally significant, okay, as being a part of the old Probst estate. And, you know, just given its nature with its views and other things. It is important to note that you're here to get a variance for a pool that you actually have a CO for. So the building department at one point did actually determine that the pool was appropriate where it was. Part of the question is whether what's the front yard? And if you look at the fact that the house itself faces a different direction, the pool is in the backyard. But if you're coming from the roadway that the house has frontage on and the driveway, it actually ends up being in the front yard. So I'm sure at some point that's where some of that confusion lies. And that's why it just makes sense for us to clean this up at this point. So we did go through the different requests that you were asking for, the different variances. I don't have no additional questions. I don't know if there are any other comments or questions from board members.
I would just say I had the pleasure of being up at that house some 18 years ago or whatever. And I have no objections. It won't affect anything in the area. It's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Rocco, anything from you?
I have nothing to add.
Good. Okay,
I know we have at least one member from the public who'd like to speak.
that's fine. I just wanted, Bill, is there anything else that that you want stated for the record for the public before we open it up?
Nope, I think it's pretty straightforward. Everything that we're proposing is existing.
Right.
As far as variances, so it's all there now.
Yep. Good. Thank you. That is important to note. So,
And on the one side yard variance for the garage is to a property line that's between the two parcels owned by the applicant.
Right.
So it's not even to an adjoining owner. So I just would want to add that as well.
Okay, thank you. So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Jocelyn Lassard, 401 Woodmont Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a special use permit for the expansion of a pre-existing accessory apartment, a 22-foot sideline variance for an existing 825 square foot 3-car detached garage, and a variance to allow an existing pool to be located in the front yard? Mr.
Hello.
Stackhouse. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hello. Ray Stackhouse. I live at 371 Woodmont Road, 2 houses down from the property, up on the same mountain, same views. Full disclosure, Bill actually worked on a piece of property my wife and I bought several years back that we subdivided. And as I remember, this 3-acre zoning. Is this property the same zoning, or is it under farmland, or is something different with this property as far as zoning goes?
It's the same zoning, I believe, but there are some pre-existing structures that may predate zoning on this
Right,
property.
right. I understand that. That was one of my other questions. How could everything be existing and looking for, going to you guys, zoning board of appeals, looking for special permits?
Well, if there's something that's pre-existing, so it's not consistent with it, when new people come in, we try to clear up any of those inconsistencies to make it clear that they are in conforming with the law by granting the special permits where appropriate.
So the applicant is trying to expand an apartment, or what are they trying to do?
No, the apartment, everything is there already. What they're just trying to do is just make sure all of the paperwork is in place to allow the continued use of it.
So this apartment is above the 3-car garage? Is that where it is?
Yes.
No, it's above the barn garage that's,
Oh, okay, thank you.
that's on the opposite side of the house from where Ray is, Mr.
Where
Stack.
Bill used to keep his tractors and stuff. There's water, there's septic, it's all in place already?
There's existing septic and water in place now. The applicant in the future is looking to make his four-bedroom house legal with the septic system, because there's no septic system approval for the lot. Again, that just predates the approvals. So we are in the process of designing an upgraded septic system for the existing house, which would accommodate the existing uses. The existing house and the existing apartment now using the septic system that's in place.
So what was it approved for originally? For 1 bedroom, or the existing septic system with this?
As far as I know, the existing septic system or the existing house is identified as a 3-bedroom house, but again, there's not a lot of information on when that was issued. So it's just part of bringing the property up to code and up to all the zoning, meeting all the zoning regulations.
So-
looking to get everything approved.
All right, so the house is, I guess in writing, a 3-bedroom. And what
Correct.
is the apartment?
1 bedroom.
And so it's a 1-bedroom apartment with a 3-bedroom house, and I'm kind of confused because I'm getting that it's approved, but it's not approved. Like, I'm confused. I don't know.
Well, all I could say is there's no health department approval for the existing septic system that we're aware of, because the house was built, prior to the health department issuing approvals.
Mr. Stackhouse, according to the records that the town has, this house was built in the 1920s.
Okay.
Not coming into play in East Fishkill until 1963. So
And when was the apartment built? three car barn garage and apartment? When was that constructed?
Prior to 1980, from what I understand. I believe.
And that didn't need any Board of Health approval either?
Depending on when it, when it was put in place. But I can't answer that. It was prior to me getting involved, obviously, and prior to the current owner purchasing the property.
Does the town know if it was, when it was constructed? Or if it's,
I don't have that information,
Board
no.
of Health was involved, or? You don't know?
We don't know.
All right, well, basically I'm opposed to it, and I'll tell you why. I've lived here for 20 years, built my own house. My wife and I, we picked a piece of property that was at the end of a dead-end road, and traffic has a big reason for the reason why we picked this property, and the view, of course. But, they got a big piece of property over there, like you previously said, 16 acres with 100 some odd acres if you add it all together. And from what I understand, it's 3 acre zoning. And if they want to put houses every 3 acres and do all that, that's fine. That's going to be enough traffic in itself. But if we start adding apartments, again, I'm opposed because of the reasons I just stated.
But again, sir, that we're not allowing the
Yeah.
addition of an apartment. To put an apartment on a property now would be a whole different set of rules and regulations that have to be complied with. We are merely stating that since this is pre-existing prior to the existing setback requirements, we're not making them tear it down. We're going to give them a variance to allow it to stay.
Well, if I read the first sentence correctly, it says that Jocelyn Sard is requesting a special use permit for the expansion of a pre-existing accessory apartment. Does that mean she wants to make it 3 bedrooms?
No, they're just adding on a room, but it would not be an additional bedroom. And they're upgrading the deck that's in disrepair. So they're just, Lassards are looking just to improve the existing 1-bedroom apartment. So they're not proposing a 2nd bedroom, for example, which could increase.
So the addition that they're proposing is 272 square feet.
Correct.
That's smaller than a
Small.
hotel room.
It's just to give it a little bit more room.
Well, the one gentleman opened up where he said, I can't see where this is going to affect anybody, but I'm telling you, as a neighbor that lives 2 houses down, and I mentioned the traffic, it does affect some people that live here. So that's my piece. That's what I have to say. And it is what it is. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
No other hands are raised.
Okay. Again, since we're cleaning up and this house and the structures have been there. Hey, Bill, is anybody living on the property now?
Yes, Mr. Lassard.
Okay, is anybody in the accessory apartment right now?
That I'm not sure if someone's in there right at the moment. I know somebody was in there when I started the project. But I couldn't answer that as of today.
Okay, so the neighbor would already be seeing the extent of the traffic.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, we wouldn't be adding any traffic with what's proposed. Again, we're looking for the existing use to be, a variance for the existing use to continue.
to just clean up what's already there.
Right.
And make that, with a one apartment, make it the
Just
existing.
making it
nicer.
more, more appropriately sized because it's pretty small.
Okay,
And I do see Mr. Stackhouse raise his hand again.
okay.
Just-
That's fine. Mr. Stackhouse? You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. I did raise my hand because it was, to the best of my knowledge, there's Mr. and Mrs. or he and she, I don't know, they're married, but two people live in there. And there's another house on the property that I believe they may or may not have somebody living in. There's actually two other houses. I'm not sure if he owns them both or how it works down there, but there is traffic now. Their garbage pails are in the middle of the circle. Again, it's an issue. I don't know, they've gone past buses on this dead end circle. I don't know if anybody's living there or not, but again, if it's a one bedroom, that could be two cars right there. Or more if they have kids. I don't know how they're gonna live there. But, anyway, I just wonder, I rose my hand because there is, as far as I know, at least two people that come in and out of there, two different cars.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, no other hands are raised.
all right, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Rocco, you're all set now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So whoever has the resolution open, if one of you could offer that?
I can go ahead. So in reference to appeal number 3985 by the applicant Jocelyn Lassard, in reference to a project for a special use permit for the expansion of a pre-existing accessory apartment pursuant to 194-91 of the zoning ordinance to a 22-foot sideline variance for an existing 825 square foot, 3-car detached garage pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations. 3, a variance to allow an existing pool to be located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-95C of the zoning ordinance, the variance is closed paren, located at 41 Woodmont property, Hopewell Junction, the property, and the resolution offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Whereas the property is locally significant and the main structure was believed to have been built in the 1920s. And whereas most features of the property are not visible from the road. And whereas the property is set up like a compound. And whereas the proposal only includes one accessory apartment above the pre-existing barn. And whereas the pool previously received a certificate of occupancy. And whereas this action is a type 2 action under SEQA and no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on March 17th, 2021. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on March 23rd, 2021. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the property is set up like a compound and the majority of it is not visible from the road. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the orientation of the property. The variances requested are not substantial given the overall size of the property. The variances do not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Jocelyn Lassard for 1, a special use permit for the expansion of a pre-existing accessory apartment pursuant to 194-91 of the zoning ordinance, to a 22-foot sideline variance for an existing 825 square foot, 3-car detached garage pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations. 3, a variance to allow an existing pool to be located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-95C of the zoning ordinance, subject to the applicant obtaining approval from the health department for an improved septic system. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk, that copy sent to the applicant owner.
Votes as follows, or sorry. Second. So votes as follows, Jim,
Aye.
Rocco. And myself, aye. So the motion carries. All right, Bill, you're all set.
All right, thank you and have a good night.
You too. All right, item number 4, Appeal 3986, Paul Akins. Paul Akins, 47 North Mission Road, Wappingers Falls, is requesting a 19-foot front yard variance and a 3-foot sideline variance for a proposed covered porch and a 13-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 16-foot shed and an existing 10-foot by 12-foot shed pursuant to sections 194-3 and 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I got distracted when I saw other people here with us. All right, folks. So I had an opportunity to walk. Actually, I walked up around to your property. You have a your driveway is literally wide enough to hold a car. I don't know how your stairs you get into your house from there without hitting a car. Okay. Oh, and then there's the fence right on the other side of the driveway there. So you're like channeled in to get into your yard there.
And the fence is our neighbor's fence.
Okay, that's fine. And then your house literally starts within like feet, but it's not uncommon. There were other houses in the area.
Very small lots.
Yes, exactly. The way it was built. And you did tell us that you know that this lot, you've got such a large backyard, you know, it's almost like you're the flag pole with your big lot behind you where your septic is and everything else. I couldn't see your back, but I was hoping you had a backyard, and then I confirmed it when I got home and saw your survey. So I definitely agree. You need to get those stairs out of your driveway. You know, and the front is really like nondescript. So to get a nice little front porch there, I think would add such value to that house and really make the neighborhood look nicer. So, you know, I can tell the other board members, I was definitely in support of it based on what I saw there. The addition that you're talking about is in the back.
Right.
Really, nobody's going to see that piece, that part of it, unless they're on West Taconic from the back there. But, you know, those are my comments. So questions or comments from board members?
None. I mean, it's obviously the only thing they can really do there too as well. So it seems appropriate.
Good.
Rocco's good. Okay. So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Paul Akins, 47 North Mission Road, Wappingers Falls, requesting a 19-foot front yard variance and a 3-foot sideline variance for a proposed covered front porch and a 13-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 16-foot shed and an existing 10-foot by 12-foot shed? Please use the raise hand function or press *9 if you're on the phone.
Nobody's raised a hand.
Did you have an opportunity to talk with your neighbor about what you're proposing to do?
We did.
Okay, that's fine. Again, they have a nice tall fence there, so, you know, it shouldn't bother them. All right, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Whoever wants to offer the resolution.
I have it up. I can go ahead. Appeal number 3986, applicant Paul Akins. Name of project, 1, a 15-foot front line variance and a 3-foot sideline variance for a proposed covered front porch pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations and section 194-3 of the zoning ordinance. 2, a 13-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 16-foot shed and an existing 10-foot by 12-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance, located at 47 North Mission Road, Wappingers Falls, the property. Resolution offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Whereas the property consists of 4 lots, which were consolidated into 1 lot. And whereas the layout of the lot provides a larger backyard but smaller front and side yards. Whereas the applicant is proposing a 2-story addition to span the full width of the house. Whereas the front entrance is currently on the side of the house, and the proposed changes will allow the front entrance to be moved to the front of the house. Whereas there are 2 sheds on the property, and the one installed on the property by the applicant has been filed with the building department. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under SEQR, no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on March 17, 2021. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on March 23, 2021. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to community, as the property will remain residential in nature. The desired result cannot be achieved by other means due to the layout of the property. The variances requested are not substantial given the layout of the property. The variances will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request of Paul Akins, 47 North Mission Road, for 1, a 15-foot front line variance and a 3-foot sideline variance for proposed covered front porch pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations and section 194-3 of the zoning ordinance. 2, a 13-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 16-foot shed and an existing 10-foot by 12-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Rocco, is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Jim,
Aye.
Rocco,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Your motion carries. So you got,
Thank you.
now you just deal with the building department. All right.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your
Good
evening.
evening. All right. So that was the end of our public hearings this evening. So that's the end of any public comment on any applications at this point. The rest of our applications are all reviews, which aside from the first application, really all the rest of them are going to be the first time where this board is even seeing the other reviews. So this one, we've been waiting for a survey and for some additional information. So let's go to item number 5, Appeal 3981, Jessica DeRosa, Perfect Pause. Jessica DeRosa, 92 Hosner Mountain Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 120-foot front line variance, a 101-foot sideline variance, and a 114-foot sideline variance to run a doggy daycare out of an existing building pursuant to section 194-55-1 of the zoning ordinance. So this is not a public hearing. Just refresh my memory. Zoning here. B1. Okay, so it's not
B1, that's correct.
residential, but there is residences across the street from this. It's been so long since we've seen this one. And this one is very near the Taconic Parkway, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's directly across from the Trooper Barrack. When you come over the bridge over the Taconic, there's that exit ramp right there. So
Yep.
we're right over the bridge.
All right, so you just sent us, well, very recently, we got the new survey. Oh, I hope my husband gets that. I'm just gonna put me on mute until it. It's kind of funny because the caller ID says it's Dutchess County calling. probably Mark Molinaro holding another town hall. I don't know. All right, so you sent a new survey. Hold on, I need glasses to see this. Because one of the things we were wondering about was that storage thing in the back that's now been moved in, okay?
Yeah.
So that now meets the requirements. And so you're 48 feet from the side there. "41 feet for the other one-story building, but that's a side yard, so that's fine. You're 30 feet from for the front. All right, and so what you're talking about is you're gonna run the the doggy daycare out of the large one-story metal building?
Yes, that's correct. So there is a barn that is adjacent to us. And that is not gonna be part of our business or part of our lease. That's not gonna be tied to us at this point.
Okay, so you have an asphalt driveway that you'll be using for your business, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, versus the gravel driveway takes you to that other barn in the back.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, the issue that we still have is that this is technically still a kennel. So I don't know, questions or comments from board members?
Not by myself right now, thank you.
Just looking at this. No, I don't have a comment.
All right, so I'm going to suggest we schedule this for public hearing. And let's see what happens because, you know.
Okay, great. I did talk to some of the neighbors and they actually did come to the last meeting. I don't know if anyone remembers. And another thing, I know last time we were asking about the soundproofing. I have reached out to 2 separate companies and talked to them about different styles and options for soundproofing the entire building and all of those kinds of things.
Okay, I'm curious, Jessica, when you say you spoke with the neighbors, what was their reaction?
So the neighbor that lives in the house right directly next to us, she's a woman. She actually has 2 dogs herself. She physically couldn't come to the meeting because she's more of an elderly woman. So her 2 children came to the last meeting. They were perfectly fine for it. The only request she had from me was to not put up like any crazy trees because she's afraid it's going to affect her satellite dish. But besides that, she said she's perfectly fine with everything.
Okay, can I encourage you to get that in writing from her? Okay.
Of course.
Before the next meeting, that because
Of course.
I can read it into the record. That would be great. This way,
Sure.
they're coming. So,
of course, no problem.
No, that's good. Thank you for going to the trouble to talk to the neighbors because when you do that, it makes the whole application, you know, much easier to work with.
Absolutely.
All right. So, do I have a motion to schedule this for a public hearing for April?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye,
Aye. Okay, so at the point you need to connect soon, in the next couple of days, you need to connect with Jackie in Town Hall about getting your sign.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably just need the one sign. There's just that one frontage, so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so
All right,
much.
well,
Have a great rest of your night.
We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, item number 6, Appeal 3987, Paul Weiner. Paul Weiner, 41 Lavelle Road, Holmes, is requesting a 2-foot height variance for a proposed 6-foot high fence to be located in the front yard pursuant to section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Mr. Weiner, is he available?
He's here. Jackie, can you make me the host again? Like I got an internet problem, so I got kicked off.
I was wondering where you went to, Michael.
It was involuntary.
Why isn't it letting go? There we go. There you go, Michael.
Great.
Thank you. All right, so if Mr. Weiner is available. Mr. Wiener, if you could unmute yourself. So this is the first time we're seeing your application. If you can explain why the 6-foot fence and why not a 4-foot fence?
I'm sorry.
I said, you're allowed a 4-foot fence, so we're just trying to understand why you need the 6-foot fence.
So it's just a gate actually over my driveway. And my driveway slopes up. So a 4-foot gate would look kind of, insignificant, and also with the ground clearance.
So does Lavelle Road actually end with your driveway?
Yes, it does.
Oh, there's no turnaround or anything like that?
There's no cul-de-sac. It's Lavelle Road just becomes my driveway.
Wow, okay.
So also, all the more, either way, I'm going to put up a gate. I just prefer to have, if I'm going to spend the money to do it, I'd rather have the 2-foot variance on the gate, because I have a lot of, Amazon and so forth, a lot of trucks and so forth come up my driveway, and I have my dog. And I don't want to, I don't want to have trucks using my driveway as a turnaround.
Okay, understood.
So let me just, based on what you said, may I ask a question?
Yes,
The
of course.
driveway slopes upwards. And
Yes.
at ground clearance, are you setting the actual fence like a foot up from the ground?
I mean, it's not my area of expertise is my first gate, but yeah, there's gonna have to be some, the fence company said there's gonna have to be some clearance, but the overall height of the fence won't be 6 feet off, won't be over 6 feet off the ground.
Okay, so you may have an actual structure of 5 feet that
Right,
has
right,
a top height of 6.
right.
And is there a fence that continues from either side of this gate, or is it?
No, before I moved in, I just moved here. And before I moved in, I really did want a fence along my front line. However, my neighbor, who I spoke to about this already, actually, but my neighbor my property line kind of goes into I kind of feel it's kind of his lawn. Like his kid's trampoline is on my property. So out of goodwill, I'm not gonna put up the fence because I don't want to eat into his, space, which is technically on my property, but you know what I'm saying? It's beyond my trees, and it's not really something I'm not gonna miss the extra few feet.
And I would just caution you, in your application, you made the comment, if it was on the lawn part, not the driveway, you could build a berm and put it on top of the berm from the height. That's frowned upon. You're not allowed to build your ground up a couple of feet to put a 4-foot fence on to get. That was still
Well, it's-
considered a 6-foot high fence generally. Be
It's-
careful about that.
Okay, it's because the ground is unlevel, so I don't know how that, again, not
Yeah.
my area of expertise, but that's why I wanted to do it the right way and get the variance.
Just I just caution you about that. If you ever consider a fence, you're not allowed to raise the ground 2 or 3 feet and then call it a 4-foot high fence.
I would get the variance.
So yeah, I agree with you. You have a very strange shaped lot, the way it enters there. But I do need to, your survey doesn't show what is the distance from your garage to your property line. You have a detached garage that's in your front yard.
Yeah,
We need to take care of that unless you have a previous variance for that.
I mean, I just bought the house, and I'm pretty sure there's in speaking with Rick, the building inspector, I think there is it's old. It was definitely built in the 80s. So I think that,
Okay,
mean-
Jackie, can you look into this, whether, how that got approved?
Yes, I'm looking in this file right now to see if I can see anything.
And
Yeah, I
if
don't know if Rick or Anthony did a site visit before.
They did.
the board does decide to set a public hearing tonight, I don't know if the board will or won't, we could also just advertise with that involved and then, the detached garage in the front yard being the variance and then just remove it if it's not.
Yeah, but I don't have there's no survey distance on here, so I don't even know. I mean, I still need a variance for the fact that it's located in the front yard, okay?
I can run, I
tomorrow.
could run out with a tape measure right now and measure it for you guys if you want.
That's okay. Jackie, what did you say?
I'll check it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think let's just clarify, again, if you say it was built 40 years ago, I mean, I'm not, it doesn't make sense to, unless it's in rough shape and you're gonna take it down.
No, it's in, the reason I know it's so old is because it didn't have I had to replace the remote for the garage door and believe it or not, like I went to the garage door store in Patterson and they happen to have the remote, but they said it's like 40 years old. So
Wow, okay, all
yeah,
right,
it's impressive.
all right. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'm prepared to go to a public hearing on it. I don't know if you want to add that. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think we should just add it. Jackie can double check tomorrow whether it's needed or not.
I agree.
What,
Yeah,
it's just one, I mean, ask one question. What
Sure.
kind of fence? What is a
Just
white?
a
city?
standard,
What are you talking about?
just a standard,
I don't know what standard is anymore.
like aluminum, black.
Oh, so, okay.
Decorative.
Got it. Okay. All right, Jim?
Yes, I'm ready for public hearing, so I move that we advertise.
I'll
Second,
go second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so Mr. Weiner, if you can contact Jackie in the next couple of days and she'll get you your information for your sign, okay?
All right, will do. And
And
let
then
me
we'll
know
see,
if I-
and then we'll see you next month.
okay, let me know if I need to do anything on the barn.
I will.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right, thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
All right, item number 7, Appeal 3988, Manuel Bravo, 168 Old Sylvan Lake Road, Hopewell Junction is requesting an 18-foot left sideline variance and a 12-foot right sideline variance for an existing dwelling, a 19-foot sideline variance for an existing deck, a 5-foot sideline variance for a proposed 10-foot by 10-foot shed, a variance for a proposed pool to be located in the front yard, and a 2-foot height variance for our proposed 6-foot fence to be located in the front yard pursuant to sections 194-98, 194-107, and 194-95 of the zoning ordinance.
If you're here for this application, please raise your hand. Is anybody here to present for this application? I'm not seeing any hands.
Mr. Bravo or any professional who is here for Mr. Bravo. Can you please either hit raise hand or the *9 feature so we know to unmute you?
I'm not seeing anything.
All right, yeah, because this one needs discussion, so, all
Um,
right,
So I guess we need an application to put this on for next month.
well, no, we can just, I mean, they're not here. We'll have Jackie just reach out to them and,
Okay.
all right. All right, item number 8, Appeal 3989, Jose Bayavati, 10 Orchard Lane, Hopewell Junction is requesting an 11-foot sideline variance and a 9-foot rear line variance for an existing 240 square foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Is this Jose or Ashley Biavati?
Hi, it's Jose Biavati.
Okay, all right, good. So this is the first time we're seeing your application, if you don't mind taking us through this.
Sure.
So who put up the shed?
I don't know. I bought this house 2 years ago and I bought from the bank, Fannie Mae Bank,
Okay,
and that was done already.
Okay, so the fence, the shed was there already.
Yes.
And so why are you here this evening? What brought this to our attention?
Well, the shed is, it doesn't meet the code as far as being close to the property line.
Okay, so did the bank tell you to resolve this or?
The bank, no, what I filed for a permit to have an addition on my house, which they approved the addition, but when the inspector, Ray, he came over to look
Okay.
at the addition, he saw the shed and he said, oh, your shed is too close.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. Why were you here? So you're you're trying to do
Alright.
another edition. That's fine. So yeah, so is this, first question is, I know you didn't put the shed up, but is the shed movable? Is this the only flat area? What's the condition of the shed? And is there a reason to keep it where it is?
It has a foundation, everything. It's a cinder blocks and it's pretty much anchored in there. It's it's to remove there'll be definitely for me it would be basically impossible because it has a foundation already on, and it's a good looking shed.
What kind of floor is in it?
It's a 2x6 flooring. It's a 16 on center. No, actually, it's I had the inspector come over and look at. It's a 2x4, 2x6, 12 on center. It's a 2x4 walls, and it has 2x6 rafters, 1/2-inch plywood all the way around, and it's a vinyl siding around.
Okay, but what kind of floor is it? Did you say cinder block?
Oh, the foundation, yes.
Okay, what kind of floor does it have?
Oh, I mean, it's you mean the floor, wood floor?
Is
Yeah.
it wood or is it just the ground? What is the
No, it's
cinder
wood
block?
floor.
What's the floor?
It's a 2x6, 16 on center with plywood, 3/4 plywood over.
Okay,
Perhaps I would suggest that if you could, sir, if you could get a picture of it so that we could see what it looks like.
Sure. I had an architect and he made a plan. He measured.
we see that.
Yes, I can definitely take a picture of.
Is the shed amnesty still on? Anybody know, or is that done at this point?
I don't-
It's
I think they're actually extending it tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. So if it gets extended, wouldn't he just be able to qualify under the shed amnesty?
His may be too big.
It may be too big. Okay, got it.
I don't know
It's
offhand. but
here
it might be-
already. Let's just deal
Right.
with it. So,
I'll check at that too.
Which was
mean,
the other thing,
it's-
maybe we should know how big it is. Does it say?
is there any trees, screening, shrubbery, or anything behind it that screens it from your neighbors?
No, it's clear. I actually put some wood chips around, and no, it's a very clean. No, it's not in there.
Okay. All right, so I'm just wondering if your neighbors will object, or if it's been there for so long, they might not even realize that it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I have actually, when I bought this house, I was surprised because two of the neighbors, I knew them from 15 years back. When I
Wow.
was very surprised. Yeah, James Brown on the back. I worked with him 15 years ago with a wooden company, and John at my side. And I love my neighbors, and we get along pretty good.
Good, that's great.
And so,
All right, so motion for public hearing.
again, I'm ready to move for that. I would just ask that we have the size of the shed put in the application so we know what actually we're approving. And if I could have a picture, I would ask you to provide that, sir. But otherwise, I'm prepared to go ahead for a public hearing.
I think this shed's 240 square feet.
Yes,
That's what it says, but so is it 12 by 20?
it's a 10 by 24.
Okay.
10 by 24, thank you.
I didn't see it anywhere in my paperwork.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
All right, so Jim, motion for
Yes.
Rocco, second.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All right, Mr. Biavotti, we'll see you next month, but please call Jackie at Town Hall in the next couple of days because you'll have to post a sign.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. And number 9, Appeal 3990, Ilatre LLC, Maria Domini Gianni, 653, and I apologize if I mutilated that, 653 Route 82 Hopewell Junction is requesting a special permit for a one-family occupancy apartment to allow a caretaker apartment to be located on the first floor of a business in the B1 district pursuant to section 194-87 of the zoning ordinance. Hi, guys. So this is the first time we're seeing your application. So if you don't mind telling us why, is the apartment there already? Or why are you looking for the apartment to be there?
Okay. I'm owner of the plaza. I'm currently a resident of LaGrangeville, New York. I have neuropathy. It's getting harder and harder for me to commute to work.
Okay.
And I have had these two small stores. I have had them empty for the past 4 years. And I can't get them to be rented. As you know, there's plenty empty all over the place. And so being that I also work in the plaza, I'm the part owner of the driving school, I thought that would be ideal for me to convert those 2 stores into an apartment. Because I'm the owner, I would therefore be the custodial of the place. And I don't have to commute, and I'll be right there to go to work.
Okay. So how big ultimately is the apartment going to be?
I forwarded the town hall the plans. I'm not altering any square footage. Whatever square footage I have, that's what I'll stay with.
So are you combining the 3 spaces, the 700?
It's 2 spaces. It's 2 spaces. I believe it's 1,340 something square feet, 1,347 or 48, right around there. It's under 1,350.
The plan that I'm seeing
Yeah.
has 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's
Correct.
3 that are highlighted.
The 2 and the 3 are connected. It's 1 store.
Okay.
It's 2 small room, but it's 1 store.
And so is there a second floor to this?
There is an apartment already above, yes.
Oh, so you already have a caretaker apartment here?
No. I don't know if you know where the plaza is.
I know where the plaza is,
Okay,
yes.
there's stores on the first floor. That's where
Right.
that plan is. That's the first floor. And on the second floor, there are apartments, which there were apartments and there are apartments still there.
So there's already residential use in this plaza,
Correct.
which you are allowed, again, as a caretaker, but so now what you're proposing is first floor residential use as well. So how many apartments are already there?
I would move in to this particular one that I'm applying for. There's 2 apartments right now on the second floor.
So we're in de facto creating an apartment building.
Well, there's still a business downstairs on the first floor. On the first floor, there's the driving school up front.
Right.
And those 2 stores that I been vacant, I'll repeat, for the last 4 years, those are the 2 stores that I'm asking permission to convert into a 3rd apartment. And that would be my apartment So therefore, that would be the custodial apartment.
Okay, but again, this is now first floor space that you're asking to convert.
Yes, ma'am.
So, now first floor and second floor residential space, like I said, we're creating an apartment building here.
And we're, just so I understand, so we're also talking about a total of 790 plus 304 plus 192. So we're talking roughly a 1,200 square foot apartment that you're being requested for a caretaker?
Correct.
So it's all three combined, all three that you have in there. You're looking to combine all three.
Correct. It's actually two. One of the store has 2 rooms
Right.
and the other store has a larger room.
Is this on septic or is this on sewer?
It's on septic.
Because residential has a higher septic demand than business.
Well, years ago, I used to have a hair salon rented into that big store. Country Cutters was there. And they used to use a lot of water. As you know, our hair salon requires a lot of water, and I never had a problem. After the hair salon, Allstate went in, and now it's been empty for the past, like I said, at least 4 years, if not 5. But years ago, I had Country Cutters there, was a hair salon.
Okay, I guess, Michael, my question for you is, can we limit it to this single person's use? Well, I'm assuming you to Maria and her family.
I'm by myself.
But eliminate it so that but tie it so that it doesn't stay with the property and it actually ceases upon her vacancy at any point down the road.
That would sort of, I guess, accomplish in theory the caretaker sort of element of it. When you think about
Right, that's what I'm trying to get at.
there may be some alienability problems if she's not allowed to allow anyone else to be in there. But I think it is possible. I think the restriction like that could be placed on it.
Because like I said, otherwise we're de facto creating an apartment building and I don't think that's what the intention here is. So that's what I'm concerned.
It's definitely not intended to rent. I will move in myself. That's what I'm doing. I mean, and if you guys need proof after the fact, you're more than welcome to come and check.
Maria, my point is that after you no longer need that apartment, okay, if you go to sell the property, the plaza, whatever it is, I don't want the next owner of that plaza to think that it's an apartment that they can just rent out next time.
Right.
At some point, it would be nice to have it returned to first floor commercial use again, business use, when the market returns, et cetera. So
I understand that. And I agree with you. However, I do own the driving school and I'm there to stay for a number of years. And my kids are also involved in the driving school. So after my generation, they're there to take over. I don't really think I foresee selling the plaza or anything like that. As a matter of fact, this year we're celebrating 20 years in Opal Junction.
And full disclosure, I've used that school for my children. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Full disclosure, I have no vested interest in this, but I'm just telling you.
Thank you.
All right. So, all right. I don't know. Jim and Rocco, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with the concern about making it too residential, so it would have to be some sort of restriction would have to be applied and enforceable. And it's a fairly large apartment that's being requested as a caretaker apartment.
Right. I'm worried about it then 1,300, it's 1,286 square feet in all. So you put that,
1,300 square feet. right?
yeah, that's the size, really the size of a small house. So, you could easily accommodate several children in there and, and then the septic then, you know what I mean? The problems then potentially could grow based on that size of it.
And I guess part of that is putting a restriction on it that can only be a 1-bedroom or something like that. So there is not.
Is that what you're anticipating? Just 1 bedroom?
No, I don't mind the restriction that I later on, if things change, if I win the lottery and I sell the plaza, I have to bring it back to a store or 2 stores as it is now. I'm in total agreement with that. However, inside the apartment, if I wanted to do 1 whole open space with no bedroom, I should be allowed. Or if I want to do 2 small bedrooms and a kitchen, I mean, those are the square footage that I have. It's not that as I'm extending or I'm not doing anything to the outside of the building.
No, but you've got a septic and your septic is based on certain use and it's sized. It's not sized based on bedrooms. So that's why we're looking to restrict the potential use based on your septic. I don't have enough information about your septic to be able to say it could potentially be 2 bedrooms.
Okay, so what if I provide you with information on the septic? Because like I said, before I used to have a hairdressing salon and they ran water all day long. So now 1 single person in an apartment.
Well, again, and I guess that's my question. If you keep saying it's just going to be you, what's the purpose of more than 1?
Me and my husband.
Okay, so again, what is the purpose of more than 1 bedroom?
Because if one of my kids comes over to visit, then where am I going to put him? Currently, each store has 1 bathroom. Currently.
So you got a total of 3 bathrooms altogether in the plaza or 4?
No, in those 2 stores, each store has 1 bathroom.
So
there's a total of 2 bathrooms right now. And that's how I want to leave it.
Yeah, I see the need for some sort of restriction, which you agree with anyway.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with
see the
that.
need for that.
I agree with it. I don't have any objection.
I mean, I think it would be a good idea to see what septic is in there though, just to make sure that there's no.
That's okay. Yeah. I'm agree with that too.
All right, so I think we need more information on the septic. And Michael, you gotta do a little bit of research about our ability to have this 1st floor use be extinguished upon the end of the occupancy by Maria and her husband.
I'll do some research on that before next meeting.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, I see what she's trying to do here. I mean, the places are empty.
Right.
She's trying to make use out of them in her, because of her condition. I mean, it makes sense, but.
It does. Like I said, I'm just concerned that we're now creating 1st and 2nd floor residential space. I mean, and there's no question, there's residential uses right along that stretch there. So, but
Yeah, they got, we're gonna
you have to be careful about setting a precedent for other businesses that may come in and say, well, you gave this to this person. Why can't I now have it? That's what and we're creating a de facto apartment building. That's what
I
what
hate to
has to be
say,
worried
but
about.
with Amazon coming in, there's gonna be a lot more applications than mine.
Well, that Maria, that worries us. That's why.
Yeah, I know. It worries all of us. It worries all of us when you gotta squeeze penny to pay your taxes because your places are empty.
Right.
Trust me, it worries all of us. And like I said, you all witness, if you guys, I don't know where you guys live, but I'm sure you work in Oakville. And I'm sure you go by that plaza. Facts are facts. I had my places empty for the better part of going into 5 years now. and I still gotta meet the same tax roll and so on and so forth. It's tough. And plus pay the taxes on my house. I don't see why when I could be right on my property. After all, pretty soon we're gonna have 90 units, all residential right across the street. That I have one extra apartment. I really don't see any harm to anybody. And I'm agreeing with all your stipulations that you want to put in, you know, that I can, whatever, re-rent it or resell it unless I return it to commercial. I'm in total agreement of that, which I do not intend to do because I'm gonna throw money in there right now. It's an empty shell. It's 2 empty stores. Obviously, to make it into an apartment, I gotta redo everything. So I'm gonna throw in some money. It's not something that I'm looking to turn around and undo next couple of years from now.
Okay,
So-
all right, so I guess what I'm getting at for the board members is, do we need to get the answers to all this information before we schedule a public hearing? Or are we comfortable enough at this point, scheduling a public hearing?
I would be okay with scheduling a public hearing and then at that time, you know, also bring in the additional information. This way we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, find out about the septic and have the attorney find out as far as the regulations go and also hear from people at the same time. I think that would be a good option.
So is that a motion?
I'd make a motion to have a public hearing.
I have a question though. If I'm allowed by the law to have a custodial apartment, why there's a need of a public hearing? Can somebody explain it to me?
Because you're requesting a special permit to do this.
Oh, okay. And that's the
Yeah,
procedure.
you're not, you already have residential uses, apartments there, so.
No, I was just asking because this is my first time applying, so I don't know how it goes.
Sure,
Okay.
so all
Yeah, no,
special
you're
permit
asking-
need to have a public hearing, every single one.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
So, again, I guess I would second the motion. If the information is not available, we'd have to adjourn the public hearing, but we can go forward.
Right. Okay.
So therefore, what is my next step? Do I
Hold
bring
on one
you in?
second, hold on.
Go
hold
ahead,
on.
go
I
ahead.
have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so you're now scheduled for a public hearing for next month. Please call Jackie in the next couple of days and get your sign. You'll have to put a sign on Route 82 there. All right,
Okay, very good. That's it?
and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
When you get your information on the septic, then if you could get that to Jackie, that would help us, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much for your help. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a
We'll
good
see you
night.
next month. All right, have a good night. All
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Move.
Second, all in favor?
Second.
Aye.
and third.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Take
Good
care,
night.
everybody.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.